Hello, everyone. It's time for a requested commentary. It's me, Captain Logan, and joining as always is Austin, the Dave Ghost.
What's up, everybody?
It is our first request of the year, and there's a couple of commentaries that I've been neglecting. I'm going to finally get to those, and this commentary was... So usually we just do reviews. We do have a $30 tier where people can ask for commentaries, either for the Rewind Commentary Project or just any movie that you want to outside of that genre. For this show, still $30 tier, and we got a requested commentary from... who is it? I'm looking at the wrong spot here. Jesse Surtees, who wanted a Rewind commentary and then requested one or two things that did not count. And then finally he landed on Psycho Goreman, and I took his word for it that it was a superhero movie. So I pinned it in, and then when I started looking into it, I was like, I don't think this counts. And then after I watched it, I really didn't think it counted. And so I'm sure we're gonna give more or less the commentary we would have, regardless of what the banner was on this, but we're gonna just do this as a request commentary, and then tomorrow night for the commentary project, we're gonna be doing Power Rangers 2017, a movie that I have talked way too much about, but we haven't done an official commentary for that show yet, and we spun it on a wheel and it popped up, and Austin kind of like oddly appropriate timing with doing Psycho Goreman right before this, because that's got so much Power Rangers energy in it in the first place. It's kind of odd. It's like watching a really violent Power Rangers episode, I think mixed with a Goosebumps episode.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that, but that is odd timing.
So, anyway, we're not going to do too much preamble on this. This movie is only an hour and a half long, but I don't know how much Austin and I really have to say about this. We're going to do our best to make this fun and interesting, but not a movie that I would have picked were it me after seeing it to do a full hour and a half discussion on while watching it, but we'll see how each of us felt about the thing. Austin, did you know anything about this? Because
yes.
This was new to me. I'd never heard of this. I thought this would be even more underground and B-movie looking than it was, just based on the title and based on the other... I forget what, but the other kind of obscure stuff that he was asking for.
Yeah, no, I knew about this from when it came out because there was a lot of excitement around it. And I remember seeing a lot of reviews at the time, and everybody really loved it. And basically the only thing I knew about it was I knew about the Hunky Boys line, and I knew Rich Evans had a cameo, and I think that's about it. But I've been meaning to watch it since it came out and just never got around to it.
Yeah, this was another COVID-delayed movie, and now is like 5 years old, almost 6 years old.
And it's also Canadian. I know that.
And it's Canadian, yeah. So I guess now we'll watch it. Austin seems just so stoked to sit through this and talk about it with me again.
Yeah.
Little disappointed, were you, Austin?
Yeah. And by a little, I mean by quite a bit.
Oh,
but
no.
It at least has some good effects. So
yeah. Well, we'll get into it. I found it a mixed bag myself, but we'll talk about it as we go because we'll have plenty of time. But yeah, the big kind of headline here is practical effects. And especially against its budget, this movie was only had a $500,000 budget, and it's astounding all of the costume work and again on-set practical stuff and miniatures and everything that's being used for this, and gives it a vibe. For the stuff that it's parroting, certainly going back to a lot of like 80s kind of cult sci-fi and stuff that. I haven't seen anything that's managed to give me that feeling again in a really long time, just visually.
Yeah,
so that was
sure.
Really nice to see. A lot of kind of Last Starfighter energy, etc.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and watch it. It is not. Well, this is streaming on. I'm not sure what some service I don't have, but you can. It might be Stars or something. I can't remember. But you can rent it on YouTube. That's how I did it.
Oh, weird. It's on Prime here.
Oh, is it really?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think here with Prime it was connected to some other service, so you had to, you had to, buy some other service to watch it, even through Amazon.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so hour and a half. Get timestamp 0. Get ready to press play when I say now, and we'll have the clock there on the screen too if you need to sync up with us. And away we go. Austin, are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. So Austin, just right out the gate, so that we don't have like floating elephant in the room. Oh, and Shutter. I don't know how much Shutter stuff I've even seen.
Oh, do you have a Shutter logo?
Yeah, I do.
Movie?
Do you not?
I don't know.
Oh,
this might be a weird logo thing here.
Okay, where does it start for you? Because this movie's got like 8 logos.
So mine starts with there's like a blood splurt logo. Here, I'm just going back to it. It is.
Should we stop?
Car rides, something like that.
Should we stop and sync it?
We might have.
Yeah,
to
we better
if
stop and
there's,
sync it. Okay,
yeah.
I'm glad I said something. I'm glad I said, because I was just gonna say I hear about Shudder all the time, and because I'm not a horror guy, I don't think I've really seen much stuff that they've released.
Yeah, and I've got Shudder. I like Shudder.
But yeah,
sorry about that, everybody.
Do they distribute, or are they just a streaming service?
They might just distribute, but they might do both. I'm not sure.
Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to get this synced up to the logo you have.
Yes, I've got a blood splatter
with some letters.
With some letters, and then another blood splatter that goes into like a M.
Okay, so hopefully the logos after that are in order. I don't know why it's set up like that. If you're watching this on YouTube, the way I am, get it at timestamp 15 seconds, and we will just hope that we are relatively synced up after we get going. All right, sorry for the false start, everybody. You ready to go? Just keep it to timestamp 0 for you, Austin. And here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Okay, so Big Elephant in the Room, you said you were like surprisingly disappointed. You seemed really looking forward to finally sitting down and watching this. What would you say was like the biggest surprise kind of problem with it?
My big thing is just I don't like any of the characters, and I think the comedy is almost always annoying. Like, there's a couple of jokes I think work, but for the most part, this kind of feels like watching an hour and a half long Robot Chicken joke, just like stretched out to that long. And I'm like, I don't know, this maybe would have been funnier if you handled it directly like this as a short, but I don't think it fully holds the full film for me.
So, do you think it needed to lean a little bit more into, like, actual endearing storytelling while still having a parody bent? Because the approach it takes is you're not supposed to take any iota whatsoever of it seriously at all. Like, it wants to be kind of review proof. I watched I watched the Red Letter Media review, and Jay and Mike were kind of on opposite ends of it to some degree, and like Mike said he liked it, but I kind of think if he'd been reviewing it by himself, he wouldn't have had as positive a review, which was the sense I was getting, and he found more of the comedy irritating, and they described it as kind of anti-humor, and that being a thing that Mike like sometimes likes and sometimes doesn't, and where it's like more fun for him to make than it is to watch. And I wonder if you had that with it.
For me, it's more like that kind of like Whedon-y, like lol, like kind of stopping in moments, and that was the stuff that really annoyed me. I would say more than
So like
like
the worst parts of MCU humor.
yes,
Because I
there's
was
so
getting
much
some
of that in
MCU
this
with
movie.
it. Yeah, I was definitely getting a little bit of that.
To the point where we have some just straight up like MCU jokes that they go to quite a bit. Like we do the Psycho Gorman's doing his big speech thing, and then we stop and the kid's like, this candy is gross."
Yeah, that didn't work
And we
at
go
all.
back into the speech, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, there's a couple places where it's kind of like a classic stop everything gag that for whatever reason always works for me. There's too many of them in this, and so they don't land as well. But one of them that I actually really liked was the scene where his Psycho Gorman's scary head has to keep popping up to the dad to give directions. I liked that one.
okay. I think that one's funny initially, and then just kind of goes on too long.
Yeah, it
But
probably
fair
goes on a
enough.
little too long.
But that does go into one of the things I do have, which is that I do most of the time, if there's any comedy that works, it's usually with the dad.
Oh, I don't have
So
that at all. I think he's obnoxious.
he gets like one of the only jokes I think is funny, which is when he talks about Iraq. I thought that joke was really funny.
I don't even remember that.
And then, yeah, it's when they're talking about playing with guns. And it's just there's like a certain point though where it's like halfway through the dad stops being funny. So I do have that.
I do like this joke that she looks at this prop, and because it's a movie prop, immediately knows how to open it, and that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
This is really weird, by the way, again, given that we're doing Power Rangers 2017 tomorrow, and I watched this today in preparation for that movie, too, and so in both movies, you have kids that just uncovered kind of a power coin, and then a glowing power coin, and then this...
They look kind of similar, yeah.
They look kind of similar, and then this is going to be the MacGuffin for the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. No Krispy Kreme, though.
No Krispy Kreme. And they're gonna... I mean, this is not a superhero movie, and they don't have powers or anything, but, like, they're gonna, find Psycho Goreman very quickly, and he's gonna be the main crux of the thing, and then in Power Rangers 2017, we have to wait 3/4 of the movie before they can morph. So this wastes less time.
Dressed like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo in this scene.
I don't know why I'm comparing them, except I just watched them both, and there are some like kind of odd similarities. Again, especially because there's so much like Power Rangers costume stuff in this, especially when you get to the scene with Psycho Gorman's former allies that double cross him. Those are just Power Rangers monsters, especially the one that's voiced by Chris Evans. As soon as I saw that, I was cracking up really hard because that's just a first season Power Rangers monster, and it's wonderful.
By Rich Evans. Yeah.
What did I say? Chris Evans? Rich Evans.
Chris Evans. It'd be a completely different character.
I just did a show last night where I had to talk a lot about Chris Evans.
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, that suit looks really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And then the mom at the end when she gets a suit looks like what's a Gundam.
Yeah, no, that's true. There are also some Power Rangers monsters in later series that are very similar to those kinds of suits. A lot of like henchmen, and especially like female henchmen. I probably overall enjoyed some of this more than you did, just because I'm like at home with the Power Ranger stuff. Like I know you were impressed with the costumes and the effects, but like I maybe overall had more fun with it just because of that stuff. I don't know, but
and it's funny because I expected to come in really liking this, and then figured it would be a movie not for you. So
yeah,
like, I expected it to be the other way around.
Overall, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those movies that like I'm glad I watched once.
Yeah.
This idea of the family having their own Morse code is kind of fun, because I like that it doesn't make any sense at all. They just do random knocks, and then they put the words on the screen, and they tell you what it means. That's kind of cool. But what's weird about it is the ways in which this family is completely dysfunctional, and the ways in which it's really, really functional. It's really strange, and again, it's wanting to be a kind of analysis proof where nothing is necessarily supposed to be remotely realistic or make sense, which makes this exercise very strange. But I kind of wish they'd leaned more into, if that's supposed to be the case, the just randomness and weirdness of it, because there are because I don't know, it's just oddly inconsistent. It's like, how did the boy turn out totally normal and the girl is a complete psychopath with those parents? I guess I'm not supposed to think about it. I guess that's supposed to just be funny that it worked out that way. But the problem is, I'm not latching on to any. I don't know. Like, that's not like satire or commentary that plays for me because I can't relate to it. Like, maybe that happens, but I don't really know what the joke is.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle with some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think if the comedy worked for me better, and the kids weren't so like overtly annoying, maybe that would play a bit better for me.
Well, and like, I think some of it is calculated, where it's like, we wanted to turn the ET thing on its head, and so you've got the girl as the main character, and instead of the boy, and she's gonna be really reckless and impulsive and not be scared of anything. Like your Elliot in ET is kind of mousy and unsure of things, but is ultimately somewhat proactive. She just goes full tilt. I'm able to control this guy, and so I'm going to do whatever I want to with him. And not only is she not scared of anything, she's completely desensitized and doesn't even mind watching people die around her and stuff. I can see a version of this where I would have found more of that funny. I'm trying to put, and I just watched this today, I'm trying to put my finger on why that thread with her wasn't as funny to me as they wanted to be. There's places where I'm laughing at that. But I think what they're trying to do is have a straight man and then the crazy comedic over the top girl, and then the fish out of water alien all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Billy and Mandy, the Cartoon Network show, where you've got Grim Adventures, where you've got that same dynamic, where you have a like Grim Reaper character, and then you have the two kids that like pal around with him, and that he kind of has to listen to, and they're like snarky, silly little kids, but they're more on the same plane, more on the same level. And here they try to make them more like adversarial, where you've got the one that's supposed to ground it more and is ultimately kind of the endearing good kid, and then the other one that's supposed to be the loose cannon that can make everything go real south and horrible. And then at the end of the movie, we just kind of let that happen, and that's supposed to be part of the joke, is that she just doesn't even bother to tell the alien not to kill everyone on Earth just to spare the family. And so then, sort of like the director's cut of Little Shop of Horrors, just the world is doomed now. And even that didn't play to me the way I wanted it to. Like, I thought that was a funny idea, but it should have been... I'm jumping around, sorry. But it should have been, you get to the end of the movie, and everybody goes, wait a minute, I don't think she asked him to spare the world. I think she just mentioned the family. Oh my god, you're right! And instead, she's called out on it, and then she just kind of shrugs her shoulders and is like, yeah, whatever. And then it never comes up again. That was weird and kind of sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that I should find funny. But, I don't know, it just doesn't land for me here.
There's just...
Same with...
There's a lot of places where it's almost there. It's like 98% of the way there. Mm-hmm. But, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, I feel like on paper, maybe, this sounds more like my thing when you're describing it. Even, like, the joke at the end where you have, like, the council that's watching all of this happen... And they're like, we got another plan, and they just pull out a gun, and they're like,
yeah,
who wants to kill themselves first? I'm like, I should love this joke. Why am I not laughing?
No, I had exactly the same thing. And the fact that it's just like a typical uh, Earth revolver should be funny.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know if it was just the timing of it.
Well, I think, especially by that point, I think I'm so just kind of out of it. Where, like, maybe if I were to see that scene in a vacuum, I would probably find it funny. But by that point, I'm so just like, I'm ready for this to be over. Also, I'm just going to get this out here.
Yeah.
This is better than a lot of other places I've seen it. But I really do think that digital filmmaking has kind of ruined B movies, where now they just kind of all look like YouTube videos.
That's a great point.
And like I said, this is better than a lot of other ones I've seen, but I do still have that in places.
Yeah, I do think I'm was accustomed enough to this look that I didn't even really think about it because it looks so much like modern Power Rangers.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's B movie in that way, so like that's all shot digital now. And in fact, this looked nicer than a lot of Neo Saban because nothing is CG. So like there are no Megazords here, but at least I don't have to sit through any CG fights. Like it's all practical monster suits.
The most you get is like there's a couple of like plug-in stuff. Like there's that part where there's like the little girl that explodes and it's like a plug-in effect.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
that's true.
That looks really wonky, but it's all kind of in passing. Like we talked over it, but the part where he rips the two guys' heads off looks really good.
Yeah, and we. I'm sorry, I got rambly. We should have mentioned that when it was happening because I expected after that the rest of the movie to be a lot more over the top, violent, and gory than it is. Like I really thought this was going to be kind of a gore fest movie, and that's not my thing, and I didn't need that. But they oddly were priming me for that, and then it only goes to those places a few times.
Yeah, and that's more the stuff that I'm having fun with. So I'm kind of just wanting more of that, and also that was the stuff I was expecting coming into it.
Well, it is overall pretty surprisingly ambitious, again, for its budget, and that it even does the Space Council stuff and all of that. Like, I really appreciate that. I do wish...
Yeah.
I agree with the Red Letter Media guys on this. I do wish that the third act didn't almost exclusively take place in that warehouse, and that we could have maybe, actually gone out to space at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the idea... Again, I think nearly everything it's doing, it could have won me over on more than it does. Again, more hit and miss for me, I guess, than it was you. But a lot of the stuff that I'm not appreciating, I can see how you could make me buy it. But... So, like, I would have liked to have done the last Starfighter thing and taken these kids to space for the end of it. But I can also see
fit for like this kind of what it's going for, like the type of stuff it's influenced by. Like,
yeah,
that makes sense.
But I also see the fun in the gag of kind of mundanity, where the whole thing comes down to a silly, stupid sports game. I actually think that set up and paid off pretty decently. That is an idea I was okay with, but I also wanted to spend more time like out there with the crazy aliens. And again, I think some of it is like it establishes tone well, and then it doesn't stick with some of what it's giving you. So it's like you're expecting more gore, you're expecting more out there sci-fi stuff, because it gives you all that the first 10 minutes. Like it doesn't waste any time.
When I don't like ET, so like I should also be very on board for like anti-ET. You know, where they have this evil creature instead.
Yeah, I felt like there were all these different ins and ways to look at this movie. Like I mentioned, Power Rangers and Goosebumps. If I look at this like a Goosebumps episode, it's like the best episode of Goosebumps.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it does feel a lot like one of those, especially because of the bickering kids and the really over-the-top acting. And Goosebumps went to that place a lot with little girls, where they'd be like spunky and sometimes kind of irritating. And like usually, I don't think because that was such a PG thing, I and that's a joke in this that our monster is Psycho Goreman, and it's PG, and that's what they call him because that's the parody of like ET, so he's PG. And that's kind of a fun joke, I guess. That it's supposed to be this very hard R thing, but we keep saying PG over and over again. I like that. Okay, but you never in Goosebumps have, of course, the sadistic like wants to see everyone die little girl. So that's where this becomes kind of a parody of that trope. But you do get the like overly confident, I'm better than my brother kind of little girl. And I don't know that they were thinking about that, but I could not stop thinking about that show.
I mean, they could have been. I mean, they're very much looking at like 80s and 90s stuff, so it's a big like pillar of kids media in the 90s.
I feel like this story type, Austin, or this what am I trying to say? Just this premise of the kids that are controlling a very powerful, scary monster that's then kind of made to look pathetic, and that's sort of the joke. I can't think of a lot of great examples, but I feel like I've seen that 100 times.
Yeah, maybe not even specifically controlling them, but like the little kid hanging out with, especially like a kind of supernatural type being, I feel like was really big in the 90s.
No, it was. That definitely. But the controlling thing, I feel like, especially in like comics and superhero stuff, I feel like I've seen that as a kind of joke story a lot, where it's like, here's this really intimidating villain, but they're brought down a peg, and we see a more comedic side to them because of a kid or someone that somehow gets control of them, that is able to tell them what to do, and then it's kind of this like parable thing where it's like, be careful what you wish for, or if it looks too good to be true, it probably is, because by the end the kid always loses control, and then awful things happen that they have to deal with. And again, I'm not thinking of great examples, but I've definitely seen this in things.
Well, the first thing when you were saying that came to my mind, and it's not even like it's the full premise. We just do that at the end, but the like Cancer Kid episode of 90s Spider-Man, I think the kid gets control of Doc Ock's.
Oh yeah, that's
a good little dog Ock thing.
That's a good one.
Like grabs him, I think.
That's a crazy example pulled out of nowhere. I would not have thought of that.
It was the immediate thing while you were describing that came into my head. That shot of him in the warehouse, just like, oh, it's kind of amusing.
Were you thinking? Were you flashing back to Spider-Man 3 when she says "how" and "wow"?
I did flash back to that. Yeah,
that whole
I was
thing?
like, I wish this little girl was played by Ted Raimi. I'd like it way more.
I've never been the biggest fan of fish out of water comedy with aliens and stuff. It can work. It's kind of easy, like low-hanging fruit stuff for me, where it's just easy to come up with a bunch of like silly examples of stuff that an alien's not gonna understand. And I didn't love that we had to go even to the like dress-up montage. I feel like everything does that.
It is kind of amusing, and they never really comment on it, though. That we then cut to them at the basketball court, I think, and he's dressed exactly like Alan Grant.
That's funny.
That's kind of funny.
But again, because this is supposed to be a parody of those fish out of water stories, it's like, on the one hand, I can complain that like that's like easy comedy that I don't usually laugh at, but then on the other end, you could be like, you could say they know that, and it's supposed to be funny because it's not funny, and that kind of like layered anti-humor stuff is over my head sometimes. And you know me, like I'm not big into awkward comedy.
Mhm.
So the idea of like it's funny because it's not funny, and then that wins back around to being funny. I get into this place of you almost have to explain that to me, and jokes are not usually funnier when you explain them. So I I will give it. There's a little bit of a layered thing going on where, or I shouldn't say layered, but there's uh, enough different kinds of comedy that I'm like I feel like I'm laughing maybe a little bit more often than Austin is. Where I at least am kind of liking the performance with Psycho Gorman himself, and a lot of the dialogue that he has with the lore and the world building. I think is pretty well written, and he's got a real specific vernacular that harkens back to that 80s sci-fi stuff that's really working for me. There are places where I feel like he's a little bit out of character to make a joke work that I don't appreciate. Where like I want him to be really consistent and the to not be in on jokes and stuff. I there are weird little places where he knows things that he shouldn't know because he's never been to Earth or he hasn't spent much time on Earth. I guess he was imprisoned on Earth, but it's not like he spent any time there. So the idea that he would understand a knock knock joke is a bridge too far. Like there's stuff like that.
Oh, he doesn't though. They have to like walk him through it.
Do they? Because what I remember is him saying, them saying knock knock, and then he looks confused and says something, and then eventually he just says who's there. And I don't think anybody told him to say who's there.
No, the brother's like, "What's wrong with you? Just say who's there."
Oh, I missed that part. Okay. Again,
Yeah.
I watched this one time today, so apologies.
No, it's okay.
I
did kind of have that when she goes, "Okay, I need you to like stay over there and like sit down until, until we come back. Dig." And he's just like, "Okay," and I'm like, I feel like it would be like a Drax thing where they would come back and he's like digging.
all the aliens with their open, gaped mouths when she crushes the cube is pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that brain guy. He's my favorite of these designs.
Yeah, and you have the obligatory lizard man. These movies always have that guy.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta have the Snake Man.
Oh yeah, the brain guy looks like Mutagen Man from Ninja Turtles. He looks like Seymour Guts.
Oh, okay. I don't even know who that is. But I do like to go back to what you're saying, though. I do agree that I think Psycho Gorman's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, like I like his voice. I like the performance. I love his look. And we keep saying the costumes are good, but like they put a lot of effort into that design. Like it's real distinct. It's real original. Well, I mean, it harkens back to a lot of stuff, but it wins its way around and becomes something unique and new. It's like if you took, I don't know if you had this, but the first thing I thought of when I saw that face, especially, is it's like if you took the Nightmare Batman face from Batman Begins and made a whole suit out of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that thought. But I can see where you're coming from, especially like there's parts where it looks like his mouth is like oozing.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. It's the scarecrow toxin Batman face.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a purple, like Uruk-hai or something from Lord of the Rings. And then he's got like Liefeld shoulder pads.
And he'd be a good design for a full season big bad Power Rangers villain. Especially because they're not lazy with it and his mouth actually moves.
When some of the stuff I laugh the most with him specifically is visually, like I said, when he's dressed as Alan Grant, and you can tell that he has no shoulder pads under the shirt, or there's a part where he's giving like a speech or something on his planet, and his arms start to raise, but you can tell he can't raise his arms over his head.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like something I think is really funny.
Yeah, well, it's fun when you lean into your limitations. like that. I think maybe one of the reasons that the family overall is too over the top to me, in like they're intentionally not making sense, and the girl being like too far to the nines and being sadistic and wanting people to die and all of that. I think maybe some of the reason that I'm wishing that I that stuff spoke a little truer, that it wasn't just farce, is because on the other side, when you get to like his backstory that we're seeing here and all of uh the like space lore stuff, that's all played pretty straight. Like you could tell a serious but very heightened comic story out of exactly what they're doing. Like the thing with Pandora and her people, like initially seeming like the heaven to this guy's hell. They play it like that kind of Spawn Celestial thing, where it's like she is Angela or Redeemer or something, and he is like Violator or Malbolgia. Initially, you're supposed to be thinking, I guess she's, even though she looks kind of creepy, that she's the good guy. She looks like something out of Hellraiser. Like she's, she and her people are the good guys. And then it turns out that not only are they kind of just as bad as he is, but they're responsible for his coming into being. Like he was their slave. I thought that was a really cool twist in the backstory. That like they created this guy. It's like all of that works.
Backstory here reminds me of
it's played
like
pretty
IDW
straight.
Megatron.
I'm sorry, say again.
I said his backstory here reminds me of like IDW Megatron.
Oh sure.
Where he's a slave that like rises up. And now he has the power.
Yeah, I was surprised that they briefly almost humanized this guy. Where he's supposed to be totally pure evil, and part of the gag is there's no redeeming him at all. And they take that gag arguably too far at the end. Like I like the joke, like you said earlier, on paper, but for the whole piece, I don't know if it works. The idea that he finds he discovers the meaning of love, and then he's going to use that to destroy the universe. Like, okay, I don't really understand what that means exactly. But I like that he's completely irredeemable. But I also like that it comes from a place.
This is where he's like, eh.
That's really funny. Like, if they had gone, and they would have needed more than $500,000 to do this, of course. Like, this in a weird way is kind of like Power Rangers, except they're not using Sentai footage. They made all of this, where in order to afford to do it, you have to have the sitcom parts. What I wish, because this stuff works as well as it does, is that the whole movie could have been this stuff. And you can still have, like, the kids on the planet and all of that, but make it a lot more about this conflict and get Pandora and these characters involved a little earlier. And, like I said, get the kids out into space at the end. And then you would have gone over the top with it, for me anyway, for what I'm looking for. Because that's the stuff I really latched on to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think I could be more down for this kind of parody of like a Masters of the Universe type thing, like the movie, not the show.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I was thinking that a lot too.
But I also just gotta not find these kids annoying, and I do feel like there is a little bit of kind of wishy-washy stuff where like I feel like I'm supposed to care about the family by the end, and I don't like. But at the same time, like it also feels like it's entirely a joke.
Yeah, I found that really awkward. It's like they just keep screwing with you, and the troll is not the funny thing to me. But I have to spend so long with it that gets kind of irksome. You gotta love the lighting effect on that suit. That's so freaking cool. like what it does under a black light.
Yeah, he's got like the pink veins.
Yeah, it's awesome. He can make TVs bleed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy's awesome.
But he's so evil that even calling people makes things bleed.
That's fantastic. Well, let me ask you this. At the risk of the movie being even more fish out of water than it is, if the whole thing was more from his perspective and we didn't have the eyes in characters and we were just kind of watching him like fumble around trying to find his place in the world, maybe he used to be this omnipotent be all end all evil thing, and then he loses his powers for some reason on Earth, and he's got to figure his way through. I almost think that would have been funnier.
Yeah, possibly. This is the joke I was talking about, where they're like, we were playing guns, and he was like, I was in Iraq playing guns, except we killed people.
Okay, yeah, I did remember him saying that. I don't know why I didn't even think that was a joke. That didn't even occur to me that was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. Well, that's the type of thing where, like, that's very, like, awkward, kind of what you're saying, but, like, that plays, for me, very well.
I was distracted in that moment because I could not decide what the time period was supposed to be. And I was trying to decide if they were being intentionally ambiguous about the time period, where this feels throwback. You don't have cell phones or anything. But then he mentions the Iraq War.
Big TVs.
Yeah. And so I'm going, okay, when exactly is this? And then I settled in with it where I was like, okay, it's intentionally throwback, but referencing more recent things. And so it's doing that on purpose.
That was the first Iraq War.
Well, I mean, I had that thought for a minute where I was like, which Iraq War are we talking about? You know, and then you look at the video game they're playing right now, and it has to be at least 1996 to have those graphics. And then, were they holding 64 controllers? I didn't...
Yes, they were.
I just got a glimpse of it. I think it was 64 controllers.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so we are definitely being intentionally ambiguous about time period, and I will applaud them for that. I think that's awesome. That they're just all over the place with the time period. That's great. Like, I wasn't even complaining when I said I was distracted by that. I was trying to decide if they were doing that, because I think that's kind of fun and clever.
Mm-hmm.
So you just spent the whole movie wanting him to get his gem back so that he could just slaughter her and then move on, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's like, punch more things. And I was like, it's rough when the hardest I laugh is just Rich Evans yelling, "Oh my god," when he dies.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think this girl is bad. I just find the character irritating. Like,
yeah, like, I have nothing against the actress. It's just, I think the writing and direction is wonky.
She's clearly doing the job that they asked her to, and
exactly.
The performances are intentionally real sappy and over the top and like just overacted, which is just correct for this kind of thing. Mm. Again, it's a lot more Goosebumps and Power Rangers because of that. Because yeah, everything I was reading and like listening to with like regular media and stuff, everybody's going back and looking at like Spielberg, Amblin stuff and all of that ET, and obviously that's in there, but visually, and some of this is also just because of the budget, but visually it looks a lot more like live action Fox kids TV, kid shows.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to a lot of tokusatsu stuff. Like I said, the mom's design at the end is just straight up Gundam.
Yeah, but also the acting with like even the parents, it's, I know I keep saying this, but like it's just Goosebumps. Because the thing is, I think of Power Rangers and Goosebumps in kind of the same breath, Austin, because like they were on that same network at the same time, and I'm sure they shared crew and stuff. Like I can't remember if Saban made that show, but I think they might have been involved in that show. I forgot. I would have to go back and look. But the human stuff in Power Rangers was shot exactly like the Goosebumps stuff. Except Goosebumps just tried to have a little bit more of a horror bend. And then, you know, with their lighting and stuff. And so then you get the exact midpoint between those two things when you get to Beetleborgs. Which is like if
I'm
Goosebumps
sure one of the
just became a Power Ranger show.
And I'm sure I Turned My Crush Into a Giant Brain is probably a Goosebumps book.
Yeah, now the giant brain guy, that struck me as a gag that you would have appreciated.
Yeah, I really like how that looks. I kind of wish he got more to do, but I do like how it looks. Psycho Goreman walking two dogs at once is pretty funny.
I kind of feel like they ripped this song almost right out of School of Rock.
Oh, there is that. It's Jack Black that sings it, I think.
Yeah.
Where he does, like, yeah.
That Step Off song? It's like, Step Off!
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what it was, yeah.
So it's like a cross between that and that 80s, like, more song. Well, rebel, yell! More! Like, that's that song.
Yeah. But there's part where the guitar solo kind of sounds like the Power Rangers theme.
I was gonna say, my head, and I guess I'm you know, I'm a Power Rangers guy. I think about this too much anyway. But in the first 5 minutes, we had almost precisely the Wasserman Power Rangers guitar riff. I meant to say that earlier. In the Crazy Ball scene.
Oh, okay.
It was just
yes,
straight out that like it's that chord progression.
I'd kind of forgotten about it, but now that you said that, I remember that part now. Like him just waiting there while they're at the diner is pretty funny. The brain guy.
Yeah. That bit that we're left with at the end with him is odd though. I'm not even sure what the joke is there. It's just like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess he's gonna stay that way. Okay, like.
Yeah, that scene is just kind of awkward. And I'm like, I don't know what I would make the joke, like if it would be funny or if they have a reaction or if they don't. But just the way it plays is just kind of weird.
Well, I never like to rewrite stuff, but I just think you'd want a totally different scene with him, you know? Like he's sitting in class at school or something. You know what I mean? Like just some weird awkward situation that he has to be in that makes no sense for anybody to put up with him being there, where he's just there. Like don't make it the place he lives where they're having dinner. Like make it a public place. Like that's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I also think just getting his parents reacting to him being a brain is probably a joke you want in there somewhere. But
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you could add that what you're describing too.
I do like
maybe
the parents.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I do like that these kids' parents find out about Psycho Goreman real early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here.
Because we're trying to turn a lot of these 80s tropes on their heads, and so usually, you know, like with E.T., you know, the mom doesn't know about him for a real long time, and so this gets ahead of it a lot quicker. Kind of like later superhero movies that go, we're just gonna let the love interest actually know the secret identity pretty quick. It's doing that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I want to say this because I really like this little graveyard bit and just what it looks like. I'm also nostalgic for it because it looks a little bit like Spawn here, and I built a set like this, and that was it doesn't look this good. But also I don't know if this is I don't know if they shot this outside or it looks like this looks outside. This looks location to me. But anyway,
I was just, it's probably a set, but whenever we cut to like the front with the kid's bed, it looks like it was just chroma keyed in.
yeah, but then when you cut back over to Psycho Goreman, they've got a bunch of trees in the background, and I don't know that they brought trees in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really looks like they just put a gravestone in a yard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think just like the black void behind it makes me feel like it's not like a real place.
Yeah, you might be right. No, you might be right. Well, whatever. The point I was gonna make is, the whole like Duke of Nightmares idea is really cool, and we don't do anything with it except for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it is kind of surprising that we don't do anything else.
Like you're trying to mix a bunch of things together, which is really potentially fun. Where he's like I guess I said Grim Reaper earlier. It's not exactly that. He's like like evil space god. You know, he's like a regular sized Galactus or something. He goes and he destroys planets. Yeah, he's like a Thanos but eviler, or like a Ronin or something. But he's also Freddy Krueger. We don't do anything with the Freddy Krueger side of it.
When I thought he like made this dream, and then by the end of the scene he's like, "Oh, we just have to stay here in your dream." I was like, "Oh, like does he just like he can like appear in your dream, but he didn't make this?" I don't know.
Yeah, he just shows up.
So I guess he was just already dreaming about his bed being attacked by zombies.
In that Red Letter Media review, Mike made a really good point that with all of the awkward lingering humor, it's really strange that that's not a place where it lingers. Where he says, "Oh, we have to just like wait here in your dream," and then the kid's like, "Okay," and then they cut. I'm shocked we don't stare at that for 10, 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping
Mike's totally right. Yeah, and that would have been a place to do it. Yeah.
This is where he's just dressed like Grant. And it's never commented on, but like that is really funny.
I don't generally like to just refer to other people's reviews, but I'm making the exception here because I did feel the need to listen to that because I like those guys and I knew they had talked about this.
Yeah.
And they made some good points, and I don't want to make the same points but not credit them. So I will make the exception in this case.
I got Rich here, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's part of why I wanted to listen to that too.
Mm-hmm. Like, Psycho Goreman even has the red ascot. It just is that full outfit.
I didn't even think about that. That's so true. The Grant thing. He's got the same hat.
He's got the same hat, same pants, same shirt. He's got the ascot. It just is Alan Grant's outfit. And it's never commented on, but it's really funny.
Well, you don't know if that movie even exists in this world because we're all over the place with time periods.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that there's not a lot of pop culture reference in this.
Yeah, I'm glad there isn't.
I'm not sure that there's any. Like they don't go to that place.
It's more just kind of generally like, oh, you don't watch, or like, what TV shows do you watch? Like more just kind of that than specific pop culture.
I like,
and obviously like just parodying things, but that's
he's
not
so sadistic. He makes this guy see the most horrific possible things, and then still kills him, or doesn't even kill him. Like lets him stay alive for a while.
He makes him look at society.
Well, he is. Oh no, that is what happened. That is what he just looked at society.
He also, and you've not seen this, but
the most Clockwork Orange experience I've ever had.
His gun looks directly out of Videodrome, and I was like, that's got to be intentional.
I this gag. Well, now he just looks like he came out of RoboCop. But
He's about to get run over.
yeah, but this gag with this guy that's like barely still functioning and just wants to die and keeps like shooting his gun randomly. That worked for me. I thought that was pretty funny. When they go out to the woods, he just like randomly fires it and then tries to shoot himself in the head and can't do it. Like,
The brain prop is done. It's ready to leave.
again, I don't want to rewrite the thing, but there are some potential missed opportunities. I like, what if you took like the brain guy and like I don't know if you could get mileage out of it, but you take like somehow the brain guy and this guy that was that's like nearly at death that keeps firing randomly, and like these characters that Psycho Goreman keeps mutilating and creating, and those were more of your supporting cast. Where like we keep accumulating them, but they follow us around and we keep doing more stuff with them.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the brain guy.
When I expected the brain guy to come back and be like, more of like a romance thing with the sister, because that's what we're setting up, and then it kind of just leaves.
Yeah, he comes back at the end, but it feels like an afterthought where it's like, oh yeah, that's a dangling thread. We don't want it to look like a dangling thread, so there he is. Yeah, see, some of this narcissism stuff with her just does not play for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we could have had a lot more fun in paralleling how self-absorbed and narcissistic both Psycho Goreman and the girl are. That seems to be the clear, like, connecting thread, thematically that you would make, is that she is him, but in ostensibly innocent little girl form.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they try to have fun with that in her being sort of sadistic, but then, like you said, at the end, they sort of try to have their cake and eat it too, where it's like, she's... We're supposed to see her as, like, maybe more endearing than that, but then not really, it's just a joke. But then it kind of wins back around to, we're supposed to sympathize with her again. And I feel like I'm just not really allowed to have any feelings or thought about the story and the characters.
Yeah, like I said, I would be more okay with that if I found any of this stuff funny.
Yeah, me too. It's just that you can make anything work kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of that stuff in the warehouse in the third act, because they've got to figure out a way to, resolve everything and still make fun of the sappy tropes with this stuff, is what makes a lot of the rest of it retroactively not work as well for me.
It's Spangler Springs. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying desperately to just let this be a silly farce and not overthink it, Austin. But then on that level, you've gotta find more of it funny.
Mm-hmm. That's my big thing. Like I'm fully okay with this being a complete farce.
Like, if you wanted to tell, and again, I would be rewriting it to say this. I'm suggesting a different approach now. But like, if you were going to write this where it's obviously got parody elements, but more like, like a James Gunn approach or a Tick approach or something, where it's really over the top silly, but there's that human element to it. What I do is I would go the complete opposite with the little girl, and I would make her so naive and altruistic that no matter what the alien does and no matter what people say about him, she believes that he's good. Like, even like murdering people in front of her, she still thinks that that he could be redeemed, and is holding the key in her hand to make that happen. And like, that's what she's on about.
I don't know if you've seen this, but that's how Treehouse of Horror does an ET parody with Bard and Kodos, and that's how they play it. Where Kodos is like, "I need to call home so I can go home," and Bard's like, "Okay, I'll help you."
So when the Chris Evans, when I keep doing it, when the Rich Evans, it doesn't help that the names almost rhyme. Trash can monster face thing first arrives, and like all of his crew shows up at the same time, but they focus on that one first. It's the way they beam in is even shot exactly like Power Rangers does that, and like the lighting is the same. So like you have a close up on that weird thing, that weird monster as it's arriving, and then you're slowly zooming out on it, and then you do a cut, and then you do a wide, and then you have lightning effects behind them, and they're all standing there. It's like picture perfect what Power Rangers does.
When we do a thing earlier too, I think it's when we're flashing back where I think there's like shots going around, and we're doing like the sparks.
Yeah. And some of these monsters are even reminding me of particular Power Ranger monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a bunch of them like that with the Rich Evans monster. But there's one with the cloak that looks a little bit like Wizard of Deception. And then this guy reminds me of somebody.
Yeah. He looks kind of out of Lord of the Rings, but I feel like there's something else.
I like that this metal guy has both a mustache and a parrot. Like, this design is wonderful.
I like that one of the parrot's legs isn't even touching his shoulder.
But you see what I'm saying? All of the... And this is true of these monsters, too, I think, but all of Psycho Goreman's, like, heightened dialogue is really on point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Pseudo, almost Shakespearean, like, sci-fi, you know, kind of old-worldly dialogue.
Now we get the in the background.
I just think it's really funny that they had Rich Evans actually record dialogue for this, because if this monster had only had his laugh, they could have just taken it from videos and it would have worked exactly the same way.
Yeah, he's got a couple lines.
He does.
I think he only has one that isn't a Red Letter Media thing, so you get like his laugh, and then you get
says, "Oh my god!" That's pretty great.
Yeah. I can tell that it's him, too, which is nice.
And it's correct for that character, so if you've never seen a Red Letter Media thing, it doesn't stand out or anything.
No.
So
no, it's more funnier if you're, like, in on it, but if it's not, it's, like, it fits in perfectly.
Well, I didn't catch it right away, because I didn't know he was in it.
Oh, okay.
And so when I found out about that later, I went back and looked at it, and I was like, oh yeah, that is what that is. So, like, even like I've watched countless hours with Rich Evans, and I didn't even catch it. So that means it was subtle enough. But what it also tells us is that Rich Evans just already sounds like a Power Rangers monster. Because it was
true.
It was so seamless.
Disney, go hire him for that.
I'm like, oh, he's just...
It's morphin' time. Oh my god!
He just sounds like he should have been in Lost Galaxy all along.
Oh, we're about to beat you. AIDS! There it is.
There it is. That's pretty great. Also, this monster is nuts. It's pretty great. Like, it's a barrel of bodies.
Well, I love that it drains too, because it's coming out the washing machine.
Well,
spot.
one of the lingering gags that did really work for me is that monster keeps spraying Psycho Goreman with blood, and then we cut to the little girl or someone. And it's like, how long are we gonna stand here and watch this blood be? That was pretty good.
Especially because, yeah, like, that doesn't hurt him.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's like, how long is this gonna go on? Oh, that's pretty... I didn't catch that before. That's pretty great that he has to kill that cop in the middle of all this. Like, yeah. He's fighting all these other monsters, and then the cop's still shooting wildly, and he's like, okay, I gotta get rid of this guy finally. When I saw this the first time, I thought he was just fighting another one of these monsters. It didn't even occur to me that it was that guy. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But then when he dies, he's like, what?
Oh yeah, there are some reactions that sound a lot like House of the Dead in this that I really appreciated.
Like, this is all, like, some of the most fun stuff in the movie.
Yeah, if this was
the whole... I'm most like, okay.
If this stuff was the whole movie, man. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's not fair to ask for that. This stuff's hard. But they could have made a 45-minute pilot, and I would have been fine with that. If it was just all this stuff.
Mm.
See, that's a great line. Despite being a gibbering idiot, you have fought honorably. That's great. I was going to mention this earlier, the kind of Predator face thing. It's like Predator times 1,000.
It reminded me of Blade 2, the, like, split mouth vampires.
The Reapers.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Obviously, like you said, times 1,000, but...
Yeah, first of all, that effect is awesome, but secondly, yeah. I didn't appreciate this on first watch as much. I was going to comment on this a couple of scenes ago, but when they're in the diner and he's eating food like that, that is excellent setup for that.
Well, especially because he's about to explain a story where he does that, and the kids cut him off, and he never gets back to it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there is some good structure here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I know he's bleeding Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, he's got Star Trek 6 Klingon blood.
Oh my god!
Austin, do you remember the Pepto-Bismol blood in Star Trek 6 where Colonel Worf is like, that is not Klingon blood? I'm like, it is in every other Star Trek thing.
Is it bad that I only remember the CGI blood floating around?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still the Pepto-Bismol blood. Like, it's purple.
Yeah. No, I know. I only remember, like, the CGI version floating through the ship.
That's perfectly fair. It makes sense that would stick with you because it's weird. And it's like they just changed the color so that it wasn't it didn't seem too over the top and violent for the kids.
Oh my god, that reminds me. I don't think I sent this to you. I saw the funniest trailer the other day. It was for a shark movie, and in order to not be like incredibly R-rated, they changed all the blood to brown, and there's just a lot of shots of blood, but it's all brown.
In what?
It was like a shark movie.
Oh,
It was a trailer that just came out. But there's a shot where there's a girl crawling on a beach, and she's got only one leg, and there's just like a stream of brown coming out of her leg, and it's like, no.
How's that better?
What are you doing?
That's great. Yeah,
it looks so much worse.
Traditionally, you'd make it green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much sense that makes with a shark, unless it's like a supernatural shark, but...
Well, this specifically was for a person, like it was their blood. But it was like...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be red in the actual movie, but just in the trailer, they made it brown.
No, in that case, you'd be better off with the Pepto-Bismol blood.
Yeah, we love Pepto-Bismol blood.
This effect is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the color, he's got kind of like the Ghost Rider thing going on.
Well, that's another thing that is kind of
no, it's not. No, it's not. You know what it is? Sorry, you know what it is? It's Dormammu. It's
Dormammu,
it's 90s Spider-Man Dormammu.
Mm-hmm. No, we kind of set this up earlier because when they're throwing balls, Psycho Goreman has the ball and he turns it into this thing.
Yeah. I just like he always has to book in with it. So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I actually like that this one keeps lingering.
No, I mean, that's fair.
That's that reminds me of a Tig gag that I like a lot that does something really similar, where it's like there's a bad guy, Mr. Mental, that is like mind controlling the Tig, and then he keeps trying to like talk all spooky and eerie like that, and he's giving the Tig directions, and he's like, "Go past this light, you can't miss it," and it's just really funny.
It kept reminding me of a joke from Suburban Nights, the second Channel Awesome movie, and that was also distracting me.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know,
But that's not fair to them.
But to your point though, I mean to that point, so much of this kind of stuff, because it's not exactly clever humor. Some of it's a little clever, but a lot of it really just hinges on what your sensibilities are and what your past experiences have been. Like if something reminds you of something else that you've seen that's funny, you can either find it funnier because of that, or you can be like, it's overdone, I've seen it too many times. That's one of the reasons that humor is so subjective. And like, there's stuff in this that might have been funnier to either of us 10 years ago, or might be funnier to either of us 10 years from now. Just
I did have that question because, especially, like, I'm so tired of like the MCU comedy at this point. Yeah. I did wonder if some of this would play better for me 5 years ago now when it first came out.
I bet it would have, or maybe. Like yeah, how much of it is fatigue? Because there's stuff that sometimes you would find otherwise funny that if you've just seen too many times, you're kind of done with, or that you have this Pavlovian thing where you've almost conditioned yourself to go, if I see that, I'm out.
Yeah.
But this is, and this is not a knock against it. This is the kind of thing that it's doing and wants to do. That's fine. But I mean, a lot of this is pretty disposable kind of humor, like pretty. I don't know. It sounds mean to say least common denominator, but like that can be funny.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not. It's lowbrow kind of humor for the most part. It's not it's not
I
intentionally.
like Trauma. I'm not fully
Yeah, like
against that.
I'm not faulting it for that. It's not trying to be again
Yeah.
like real cerebral or clever. It's clever in places more because of what it's looking at than in originality.
Hmm.
And then the stuff that I find most original is not funny.
Mhm.
It's like
That's
quirky
fair.
and fun, but not funny, and that's in uh, creature designs, in lore, and again, all the sci-fi stuff is really working for me.
Mhm. Like moments like this where we get like real sad, I'm like, oh, am I supposed to care?
Yeah, am I supposed?
But then,
Again, I don't mean to repeat myself, but that's a good example. Am I supposed to care about that, or is it supposed to be funny because it's making fun of a scene where I'm supposed to care?
yeah,
I
for
don't.
sure.
I don't know.
Also, I don't know if this is just you can tell it's filmed in Canada, but every middle-aged couple has that welcome sign, the wooden one with the white letters at their door. Every single one.
Really?
I have to dog sit. I have to dog sit at my mom's tomorrow. I will take a picture of the one that they have outside of their door. It is the exact same. They all have it. It's like demanded by law. When that sign came up, because I've been ranting about it for like years now. When that sign was in the background, I was like, "It's that sign! God damn it!"
I do think it's inherently amusing that he's wrapped up in a cow blanket while he's dying.
Yeah.
I also think Psycho Gorman is a bit of an odd, almost misleading title because you hear that and you think it's going to be like really rough and violent. And I don't think there's supposed to be a joke in it's not anything like what you were expecting because they do go to some of those over the top violent places.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit of an odd choice for a title.
Yeah, he is a psycho and he is a gore man.
But could you have gotten away with just calling it PG? Because if you did that, then it would look like a direct ET ripoff, and that's not all they're doing.
But isn't because with ET you also have, like ET the extraterrestrial, like maybe you need like PG the Psycho Gorman.
Yeah, well, what's funny is I when you look it up on Wiki, they actually list it like that as if that's the way they released it. I,
Hmm.
but maybe there's posters and stuff that have it that way. I haven't seen
I was
anything
gonna
that
say maybe
actually
that was like
says
the intention, and
PG
then they
Psycho
kind of backed
Gorman.
down and just
Yeah,
went Psycho Gorman, maybe.
yeah, because that admittedly that title only makes sense after you've seen the movie.
Hmm.
Like if you see the PG in it, we would both be
Hmm.
thinking it's kind of odd before we've seen the movie
Yeah.
that it's called
Mhm.
PG Psycho Gorman. It's like why is that?
And then the sequel would be P2 Judgment Day.
I feel bad for the actress that plays Pandora because she has to be totally blind in her performance. Like, there's no possible way they set that up where she can see, right?
It's probably eyes somewhere. It does look like something. It looks like a Power Rangers version of the like no eyes thing that Del Toro's gone to a couple times.
Oh, sure. Well, and again, it reminded me of Hellraiser. Isn't there a creature in Hellraiser that does the blind thing? I might be wrong because I've only seen that movie the one
I
time
don't think
with you
directly, but
guys.
I also kind of see where you're coming from. But it also has kind of like a Transformers or like that kind of robot-y face.
Yeah, and this won't mean anything to you, but while I'm on Power Rangers, her design in the face reminds me vaguely of Ecliptor from Space. For anybody that knows what I'm talking about, Ecliptor, one of the absolute coolest villain designs, but was a pain in the ass to paint in the board game. Oh my god. When that game came out, I was like, if we ever get a clip there, I don't know how the hell I'm going to paint that. And then they announced the Psycho Rangers box, and I went, oh, crap. How am I going to paint that? No, it was even after the Psycho Rangers box. It was later. But anyway, when that came out, I was like, crap, not to paint that. I figured it out. Mine actually looks pretty decent. But boy, was that a lot of lines that they did not put on the figure, that you just had to eyeball and figure out where the lines were going to go. I'll send you a picture of that character. Oh my god. So I don't know about you, this scene did not play for me at all.
No. It reminded me of, I don't think you've seen this, but Black Phone.
No, I've not seen that.
A Jesus kind of running joke that they then bring back in 2 as well, but I didn't find it especially funny in either, but I know people really liked that.
The problem I'm having with that is, and again, it feels like it wants to be kind of review proof, but I'm going to review it anyway. It kind of feels like she's playing for us, the audience, that she can't possibly know is watching her. Like, why else would you have a bait and switch like that? You know, like, it doesn't work when you're the only person in the room, where she's sitting there talking to Jesus, and then it's, oh, shades, and then, psych, I want your help anyway, and then I'm gonna break the cross. It's like, why did you open that up pretending like it was a sincere prayer when no one is watching?
It reminds me of like a Deadpool joke, like I think I left the oven on, where I'm like, that's not funny. Like, I don't even care that she's talking to the audience there.
But even that, whether you find it funny or not, at least with Deadpool, he's doing it to an audience, like for an audience that he knows is there. Like, he's playing to someone. Why would you do that when you're the only person in the room? It's weird.
But what I'm saying is, like, that part doesn't even really bother me. That's fine if it was like a funny joke. Both of them to me are just lazy comedy.
Yeah, okay, that's like, fair. No, it is lazy.
Insert funny, wacky thing, she said, or Deadpool said, and I'm like, okay, but like, that's not like okay, like, you could put anything there. She could just say gibberish.
No, that's a great point. The problem with it is it's filling in for a formula. That's what you're getting at, right? Is you go X plus Y equals funny. And so it's, and I think that's different than, like, there's joke archetypes that work where it's like, you know, vaguely, like, I'm writing a scene and there's a kind of comedy that I think will naturally work in the scene I'm writing. And I know I've seen jokes kind of like this before, but I'm trying to organically play it out, as opposed to going, I've decided like, inorganically to shove this joke in. This is the formula you have to fill in for.
Yeah, like, which sunglasses should I wear?
It just feels so artificial.
The oven on, like, it's you put anything there.
It doesn't speak to the character at all. Like, okay, so what about that? Like, with Deadpool, is it supposed to be funny because it's just random, and because it's?
Well, I think that's like a big part of it. It's just mundane. It's funny because it's random.
Yeah, and I do often find random humor funny, but this is not even about this movie at this point. But the thing with Deadpool for me is there's a lot of things he says that are funny to him and not to me, and I've just gotten very used to that with that character. I'm like, am I actually supposed to laugh at that? Or is this Deadpool has this dumb sense of humor that he laughs at things? And so, like, if I'm liking the story enough, I'm just used to that being his character thing. And so the whole, like, the whole oven line, it never even occurred to me whether or not I was supposed to laugh at that. So, like, I'm not even judging that based on whether I find it funny. I am here. So yeah, this is another one of those awkward places where I can't decide if it's supposed to be at all endearing or not. The people are the real monsters thing. and then she's gonna find like some residue of humanity in herself, and then she's gonna sort of apologize to her brother and all of that. I Does that play when she's been fine watching Psycho Goreman eviscerate people, or is that supposed to be why it's funny?
Hmm.
And the other thing is, these guys, even as storytellers, feel competent enough to me that I'm frustrated because I think they could tell a real story with it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And again, that's not what they want to do, but then there's places where I can't tell if that's what they want to do. And so it's frustrating.
I want to see the director of this made the like Halloween 2018 thing for Leprechaun. I want to see what that looks like, because that's like a very comedic horror thing. Like, I want to see how that plays.
Yeah. Now, again, I do really like this idea that like the fate of the universe is decided by this stupid game that these kids made up, and I think they did a good job of establishing this at the beginning. This is the antithesis of the dumb song, where the game, like, we opened with it, and maybe it's just the way it was shot, but like that stuck with me. I remember that.
Well, it comes back in each act, because we open with it. It comes back in the second act, and then it's back here.
The game?
Yeah, because that's what, when the cops show up, she's teaching Psycho Goreman how to play this.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so they keep checking back in with it. It is too long, and Mike in the Red Letter Media review also said this, and I thought the same thing. Again, I just don't want to look like I'm ripping off other people's points. But he said the song doesn't play because he forgot about the song. And I had exactly the same thing.
It's just kind of playing over a montage.
Yeah, and so you have that sappy moment toward the end here where she's going to start singing that, and I was like, what is she doing? What is this song? Like, I didn't remember it at all.
Yeah, and it's just kind of awkward.
But again, I think that's supposed to be funny because that's how these movies often go, and so they're intentionally doing it badly.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered, full disclosure, Austin, I watched this movie and I went, this is a movie Austin is supposed to like that I don't think he's going to like. And I totally nailed it. Like, I knew you were going to come into this not really caring for it. And what I thought you were going to say is that it has a little bit of that trying too hard to be bad thing. Not in the look, but in the storytelling. I wondered if that was going to be your thing.
Yeah, I was wondering that, because I'm like, I don't know if it's even necessarily that, but I was thinking of Grindhouse, the double feature Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez thing, where, like, I love the movies that they're referencing, and I know that they love those movies, but I don't think either of their films play at all, and I don't think either of them can really, like, put why they like that stuff into a movie. In that example, I was having like a little bit of that, where I'm like, maybe I just don't like homages to like this kind of stuff too. I don't know.
Well, and sometimes just because you can show a lot of reverence for a thing doesn't mean that you know how to make it and how to tell that kind of story. But in a weird way, I almost think they just overthought this a bit, where if they had just told a sillier story than even a lot of those 80s movies that they're going to did, but still were a little bit more less irreverent and more straightforward, it's probably a better movie. Like, this idea of the two kids at loggerheads at the end because like she's gone too far in how sadistic she is, and he's done with it, and like for clear good reasons doesn't trust Psycho Goreman with this gem, and she does, but not because she's a sadist, but actually because she trusts him now. That all could have actually, in the context of this silly movie, been dramatic. Like, that's all recipe for good drama. But I'm not allowed to even read it as good drama because it's supposed to be anti-comedy and like intentionally trolling me. And so now I'm wishing they didn't do any of that stuff at all.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I will throw out another positive though. I do think it's funny when the dad high fives him and like snaps his wrist off of him. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, none of the stuff with the
Yeah.
dad played for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I said there's like 2 or 3 bits with him that I think are funny, but
that joke of like, oh, we need you to dig, and he's like, I don't want to dig, and then he starts to and then immediately messes his hand up. I wasn't even sure if his hand was really messed up or if he was just faking it. And so, like, if that was supposed to be the payoff to say that his hand was actually messed up, I don't know, like that.
yeah, no,
That was weird. That didn't really play for me.
that stuff before it doesn't play for me either. But just the shot of him like high fiving and his hand snaps, just the way it's shot, I thought was funny.
And then at the point where he and his wife are arguing about how lazy he is, I don't know if you had this, but I feel like that almost came too late. Where I knew he was kind of a deadbeat dad, and that he was, like, just not a very good father and distant, and detached, and all that. But I didn't understand until midway through the movie that he was supposed to be crazy lazy, like he never gets up and does anything. Like, I think you want to get ahead of that straight away. Like, I feel like the moment we meet him, there needs to be something about how lazy he is, and I didn't get that from it until later.
No, I had the same thing because even with the digging thing, it's like they think the kids did it. So when that happens, I'm like, oh, he's pretending because the kid should be doing it.
Yeah,
so
that didn't seem lazy to me. That seemed like it's their responsibility. Why should I have to do that? That's not late. And the mom, for the record, the mom doesn't want to do it either.
Well, in the way that they walk away together, I was like, oh yeah, like they're both in on it. Like this is their way of making
they're making their kids clean up their mess. And then they look like responsible parents when they're supposed to be deadbeat, irresponsible parents. And the only possible explanation you have for how insane this little girl is bad parenting. But I think even in this farcical context, they just take that too far. Because they think that whole thing is really funny. And again, like we said earlier, if I found that funnier, maybe I would be more on board with it. But then none of the endearing stuff that you're kind of trying to do with her at the end works because you took her too far. I'm talking in circles, but that's kind of my biggest issue. This is one of that close up on Psycho Goreman's face is one of the moments where he most looks like that Nightmare Batman face.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm just expecting him to go, Ra's al Ghul is dead. Who are you working for?
Tell me about bears and rabbits.
No, that's a different scene.
That's not even in the movie. That's in the game.
That's in the game. Yeah, that's true. Bears and rabbits.
That's like one of the main things I think of with his voice is in that game where he says that. Tell me about bears and rabbits. And then you punch them for more information.
I sent Austin a picture of this, but this movie actually got action figures. I can't even believe that.
And like I said,
they're cool because
pretty popular at the time.
They look 80s throwback.
Yeah, it is cool.
Like, they don't have a lot of articulation. They're not super well detailed. Like, they look like they came out in 1988 or something. They look almost like Superpowers figures. If you know what that line looked like.
Nicholas Bodo, I don't think the dad in Gremlins is neglectful. I think he's just dumb.
We should do that at some point. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I love Gremlins. I would love to do a Gremlins commentary. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh,
That's when I try to watch every Christmas.
Somehow I missed this before. I don't know what happened when I was watching this, but I did not catch the moment where he says the movie title, where like he decides to call himself Psycho Gorman. I kind of like that, just as the obligatory, like he's come to this as his identity now moment.
He finally accepts it.
Yeah, but also on a farcical level, I like that. Like every movie has to have that moment. Like,
Yeah.
and that this is not a superhero movie. That's very superhero movie.
Yeah, definitely. Daniver says he likes Gremlins but loves Gremlins too. I think they're both just kind of equal. Like it depends on what mood I'm in, but they're both awesome.
Well, it's cool how different they are. Like the approach
Yes.
that's made for that sequel is really smart.
That's what I want for 3, and they won't do this, but I want them to do something completely different. And since Columbus is directing it and his original script is darker, I'm kind of hoping they just make a darker movie so that all 3 are different.
Yeah.
But it probably won't be. It'll probably be like a generic soft reboot.
So this is the moment that somebody needs to say, "Hey, wait a minute! You're also going to spare the Earth, right? Like she forgot to say that, but you are going to do that, right? Nobody thinks of that, even though that just came up 10 minutes ago. It's very odd. and then that whole thing does not. And again, it's probably supposed to be just like funny as a dramatic moment that doesn't work. I don't know, but the whole he throws his gem away because he's replaced it with love now. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I also like how insanely powerful Psycho Goreman is. He can do literally anything.
Yeah, you can do anything.
But of course, he's got to kind of have a kryptonite with the whole stabbed with his own blood thing. I don't really understand how that works. I don't know if that was explained and I missed it. But he was just like, something. I was stabbed in blood, and I'm dying now. I don't know. I probably missed something.
Yeah, I don't know. It was something like they poisoned something and something. Now I will die without my gem, because all my Pepto-Bismol is leaving me. He's a giant.
There is an epic, like, $50 million, like, space movie to be made as a sequel to this that I would be 100% on board with if that ever got made. That's what's weird about this is a lot of this comedy, or at least some of this comedy, did not play for me. But I really like the space stuff. I think you could make a great movie out of that.
Just make a movie out of this brain guy.
See, that just strikes me as such an Austin kind of character.
Just make the Todd Phillips Joker movie, but starring this brain.
And I also appreciate that they took the effort to hire someone to make a cheesy, crappy 80s rap for this movie that's on the level of the Partners in Crime Ninja Turtles rap. I don't know if you sat through the credits to get that, but I
caught a bit of it.
I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Now, this reminds me of just like the Dawkins song from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Well, it's also very Transformers.
Yeah. That logo's very Terminator.
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd opened with this because the PG thing is almost funnier if you have no idea what it what it means when you first see it, when you know you're coming into this rated R movie and you just see PG. Like, I think that would play better at the start. Mm-hmm. It's a great logo, but I think they should have given it up front.
Yeah, I can see that. But you got to separate it so that we can cut back to this.
Well, you just do it twice. Just book him with it. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. Nobody's gonna mind seeing that twice. But yeah, like, go back and listen to the Partners in Crime Ninja Turtles rap. This is just that with
100%. Yeah,
it's great.
No, it's just this.
It's the same. It's the same rhyme scheme. It's the same meter.
Mm-hmm. No, it sounds exactly like it.
Raphael, he's the leader of the group. Like, it's the same. It's the same thing.
And the brother, he's the leader of the group.
Yeah, I know. It's great. Why'd you say that? It doesn't make any damn sense.
Psycho Goreman doesn't even remember his name. He's not the leader.
So, I'm shocked to say, I think I actually liked this movie a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's stuff I like in it. Like, it's not like it's awful, but overall, I think it's just kind of lame.
The little girl protagonist is just a miscalculation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. No, because like, in a way, and I've never had this with that movie. I think it works for it, but people complain about the kid in the Babadook, and I have that more with this. Yeah, that's a good movie. I recommend it. Oh, my movie just turned off. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks, Amazon.
I was trying to listen to this excellent rap.
It just started playing Casino. Also, why was that the immediate next movie? Like, oh, you watched Psycho Goreman? You're gonna love Casino.
Well,
okay.
Look, 5 years ago it would have been
Whiplash.
Rings of Power. You would have just immediately gotten Rings of Power.
Exactly, and now I get Casino.
You ever watched that? Isn't that like a 3-hour movie?
Oh, it's Scorsese, so that doesn't surprise me. My
Casino's
mom really loves
crazy
Casino, but I've
long.
never seen it.
Another movie from around that time that's real long like that and kind of deliberately paced like that is Quiz Show. I don't know if you ever saw Quiz Show.
I've never even heard of Quiz Show.
Don't do drugs. This rap is great. I love it. That's the best part of the movie. It's not.
Amazon was like, you don't need to listen to the rest of this.
Yeah, meanwhile, the recommended movies I'm getting are Reanimator. Fair.
Makes sense, though.
Fair.
Makes sense.
Some B movie called Kids versus Aliens.
Oh, is that like the animated one?
I don't know what that is. I don't know. I've never heard of
this.
this.
I think it's something else. Yeah.
And you're gonna love this. The third choice. It gives you 3 doors, Austin. It gives you door 1, 2, and 3. And door 3 is VHS Beyond.
Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
I can kind of see that. Yeah.
VHS. I didn't even know. What is that? Like the 3rd or 4th or 5th of those? Like, how many of those did they make?
There's a ton of VHS movies.
I didn't know
so basically,
that. No, look.
Yeah, so
I know there's a lot of VHS movies, Austin. Okay, like.
No, I think they made like 2 just like regular studio films, and then I think Shudder got like the rights to them, and now they just like pump them out every year, and they're like anthology movies that are all shot on VHS, and they're just little short film things, and the Shudder ones are pretty fun. All the ones I've seen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about watching that original movie, but I'm not a big horror guy.
I'd probably go to one of the newer ones because I've heard the first 2 aren't great. But
interesting. I've never heard anybody say that about a horror franchise that's lasted that long. Yeah, don't bother with it. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. That does get said about stuff, doesn't it? Because like people will say like the original, what is it? Friday the 13th isn't as good as the later ones and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess you do hear that.
yeah, and with VHS specifically, like just because it's like anthology short films, like it makes sense. But yeah, Friday the 13th, like I got some of that, but I also think one is kind of more interesting in some ways, but it's also just a rip-off of Halloween.
Okay, Austin, for next time, and it may be a couple weeks before we get to the next request because I've got a writers meeting again next week. We'll try to get back to full-on weekly with these, but it's a little bit tougher for me to get these in on a Thursday. So if I'm ahead, we'll do it, but it may have to be a couple weeks. But anyway, for next time, we're gonna do Carl Maxey's request, and he wants us to do, and I gotta look at his Patreon message and see exactly which ones, but he wanted us to sample some Yu-Gi-Oh, which I have never seen.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, Austin.
It's okay. I actually, when I was a kid, I was into Yu-Gi-Oh for like a week because my uncle really liked Yu-Gi-Oh, but it didn't last long.
That's really funny. And then after that, we actually have to go to something that will remind us of this movie, because we're also supposed to do Guyver 2 Dark Hero.
Oh, okay.
And you've not seen the first
Yeah,
Guyver.
I'll probably try to see the first one before that.
Oh, and you know what? That's actually requested. Oh, no. Not requested by the same person. I actually wrote this in wrong. I said that the requester for Guyver 2 in the description was the requester for that. So for what we did tonight, I have to fix it. I have to change that around. Because for a second I thought it was the same guy twice, but it's not.
Okie dokie.
I'm dumb. It's fine. Anyway.
Nothing we didn't know.
So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Look forward to that. But yeah, I wanted to give you time to look at Guyver because you've never seen that.
Yeah. No, I'm interested to check that out.
It would
Looks
probably
cool.
be odd to watch that sequel and not see the original.
That's what I figured. So even if they're not like super connected, like I would just feel weird about it. So.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's David Hayter. It's so strange.
Famed writer of X2.
Yeah. Who's acting. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, he's a Solid Snake, and we've actually had to review
he does voice stuff. But...
him talking, yeah.
Isn't that strange?
Even though we both made fun of him voicing that, but still.
That is still one of the most painful experiences I have had on this show.
That makes sense.
I had such a hard time getting through that. Apologies to whoever requested that, but that was tough.
But we did it. We got through it.
Well, guys, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it. Austin and I will be back tomorrow night with Power Rangers 2017. May or may not have Jason with us. He's wanting to do that, but he's also got to get up on Saturday, Austin, so I'm not sure if he'll make it, but he's talking about it. And we'll see you again with one of these again soon. If you would like to make a request yourself, patreon.com/geekvolution. $15 tier lets you pick a movie or a pilot for a TV show or the 6 issues worth or so of comics. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin the Day Ghost.
ATSTs, ATSTs.
Oh my God.
Hey!
Bye, everybody.